Disney has officially canceled the Snow White premiere in London, reportedly due to fears of backlash. However, given London's strong ideological alignment with Hollywood, this decision raises more questions than answers. Instead of a grand premiere, Disney has opted for a handful of tightly controlled press events, likely to prevent lead actress Rachel Zegler from making controversial statements. In Japan, a country known for its polite and less confrontational media. This suggests that Disney's real concern isn't fan reactions, but Western journalists who thrive on stirring controversy for headlines. This cautious approach highlights a deeper issue in Hollywood. Rather than engaging with audience concerns about storytelling, casting, and creative direction, studios are increasingly focused on damage control. The Snow White remake has already sparked criticism for its significant departure from the beloved classic, with many seeing it as another example of Hollywood prioritizing ideological messaging over genuine storytelling. Instead of acknowledging audience dissatisfaction, studios have developed a pattern of dismissing criticism as intolerance, framing any backlash as politically motivated rather than considering whether they are delivering content that people actually want to see. This mindset has been evident across multiple major franchises, from Star Wars to Marvel, where declining audience enthusiasm is attributed to supposed bigotry rather than creative missteps. Disney's handling of Snow White is emblematic of a larger industry trend, one where filmmakers and executives see themselves as cultural educators rather than entertainers. They believe their message is inherently correct, and instead of adapting to audience feedback, they double down on controlling narratives, restricting media exposure, and manipulating the conversation to maintain ideological consistency. This shift has led to an increasing disconnect between Hollywood and its core audience, with more fans feeling alienated from the very franchises they once loved. This growing divide is reflected in how Hollywood treats criticism. Instead of seeing audiences as valued consumers whose opinions should shape creative decisions, studios view them as obstacles to be managed. The response to backlash is not to improve storytelling, but to gaslight fans, claiming that those who don't embrace their messaging are simply on the wrong side of history. We've seen this with the Marvels, Indiana Jones 5, and now Snow White, where fan discontent is ignored in favor of media narratives that attempt to shift blame onto the audience. Yet, despite Hollywood's best efforts to frame this debate as one of progress versus intolerance, the reality is much simpler. People want engaging stories, strong characters, and films that respect the source material. When beloved franchises fail to deliver, audiences naturally push back. But instead of listening, Hollywood continues to double down, believing that the problem isn't the content, but the people rejecting it. Disney's decision to limit press interactions for Snow White isn't about avoiding anti-woke backlash, it's about controlling the conversation. They know Rachel Zegler's unscripted remarks can spark controversy, and they fear that even journalists who share their ideological stance might push her into making statements that go viral for the wrong reasons. So rather than risk another PR disaster, they have chosen to minimize exposure, restrict interviews, and carefully package the film's messaging in a way that prevents further damage. But this strategy only highlights a much larger problem in Hollywood, the growing belief that audiences are the issue rather than the content itself. Instead of creating stories that resonate with people, studios are determined to push narratives, manipulate media coverage, and silence dissenting voices. The question now is whether Hollywood can recognize this problem before it's too late, or if it has become so trapped in its ideological bubble that it no longer cares about what audiences actually want. If the response to Snow White is any indication, it seems the industry is doubling down on its approach, even at the expense of its own success.